Welcome to another episode of Low Tech Garage, and today we are back on the OBS F150. And for those of you that have been following along here, we picked this one up after our last OBS fell victim to Hurricane Helene. And so thankfully we were able to upgrade a little bit. We found this beautiful 1996 F150. We now have a V8 and 4x4. And actually the truck is in pretty good shape, but mechanically it has been neglected for quite some time. And one of the things that's not working on it, and actually caught us by surprise, was the AC compressor locked up on it. It wasn't even running the AC at the time, and it shredded the belt, the compressor died. It was not a good situation. And being in Florida, we have to have AC. It's just a way of life here, especially when it's thunderstorm season and 95 degrees out. So today, we're gonna get stuck in and get that AC working. It's gonna require a few parts, so let me show you what I got. So we got this little Orifice tube. We got a new pressure switch. We got a new receiver dryer. And it's always suggested to put a new receiver dryer in, especially in a situation where you may have had an issue with a mechanical failure in the AC system. It's just good practice, they're cheap. Put it in there with the Orifice tube and you know your AC system is gonna work that much better. And then we got the new AC compressor. I actually went ahead and put this on because like I said, the other one seized, it shredded the belt, and I do use this truck every single day. So it's mounted, it's not plugged in. So we still need to get the lines connected properly. And when everything's put back together, we need to obviously draw a vacuum, charge the system, all that good stuff. But I do have the compressor mounted already. But I did save the old one because I wanted to share with you guys what an epic failure looks like. So we kind of had to manhandle this thing, but the freewheeling ability on this piece is all messed up. And the clutch itself, it's just bad. When we took it off, this was all completely seized. There was a lot of prying and stuff to get this thing moving at all. But nonetheless, it kind of got in a weird state where the clutch was stuck on even when the AC system was off, and it basically grenaded itself internally. And in true car guy fashion, there's a lot of while we're in there stuff that we're gonna be tackling too. So let me show you the other little bits and pieces that we're gonna be throwing on the truck. I got this brand new intake tube set up, which was just an Amazon find, but I am thrilled that I got this. Here's the current one, and it's literally disintegrating. So every time I touch it, it just turns everything to this dust that is stuck all over your hands. So really just replacing it because I know I'll be doing more work on the truck and I just don't want to deal with the mess that the old one creates. I got this nice OEM replacement gas cap. I actually got a pair of them, and so we're going to be putting those on just so we're good from the evap system, and also the ones that were on there were questionable at best. I got a new fuel filter, which at 160,000 miles and unknown when the last one was serviced, figure why not put one of these in. Again, it's kind of cheap insurance and easy enough to do. And this evap solenoid, some of you may remember from my last video that I went to replace this, but I guess Ford changed the design somewhere kind of mid-year and I had purchased the wrong one. So we're gonna be popping this on. I did have a code for it. You know, I don't know that this is really gonna help me out, but I figured why not? You know, let's just put this on there so, you know, this solenoid is hopefully working moving forward. And this brand new alternator. Let me tell you kind of why I decided to do the alternator as well. And that would be down here. We can see that the one that's on here is a reman. And I'm gonna be honest, it was making an awful grinding noise. So really my goal is to mitigate anything that could potentially fail in the future. Like I said, this is basically my daily driver. So the fact that it was making a noise, I just wanted to put something new on there for reliability. And also I noticed I have a flashing light for the airbag. When you decode it, it says low voltage, which is interesting because my actual volt gauge on the dash, it actually sometimes looks like it's almost overcharging, and then sometimes it's low as well. Makes me think that maybe the regulator's bad on the old alternator here. But either way, I'm gonna replace it. I'm tearing into the cold drive system already. I may as well just do it. And hopefully that gives me some trouble-free motoring as well. And last but certainly not least, we have a new belt tensioner with idler pulley. This is a little bit of a, while you're in there, the old one looks, well, let's just say it, very old. And again, these things just aren't that expensive. So let's put this on and hopefully it keeps the drive system behaving like it should. So that's certainly quite a lot of parts and I don't have that much time. So let's get started and get these new parts on the truck. And before I get my hands super dirty, if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. If you like things like the OBS Fords, there is a ton of content coming this way on it. Have some fun surprises in the pipeline as well that I'll be working on as more of like the long-term updates for it. So there's gonna be plenty of content on this truck on the channel. If you like the classic cars like my 65 Mustang, I have some really good stuff coming out on this too. In the last video, I think I teased the fact that it is driving under its own power. So I wanna share with you guys what I did to get it running, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with it this summer as well. And then the couple cars up here, if I can get the camera right, we've got the Porsche 928. I already have a video filmed on this. I'm super excited to share it with you. It's a really good video, some cool content, a little different than what we do on the channel, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. And then equally the Viper back here. I've been kind of hoarding parts for the best part of a year and a half to do a real kind of build series on this. And I am just about there. So I say all that to say, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and definitely drop me a comment. There's tons of fun content coming this way on the channel, and I think it'll be really enjoyable for all of you. And also, not in the shop today, my Jag XJ, certainly a beloved car of mine. That will be in here extremely soon. We're putting the Android infotainment system in it. I am super excited with that. We'll have basically Apple CarPlay in there, and we will be really bringing the infotainment system to a 2025 spec. So that will be coming very soon as well. So welcome to Low Tech Garage, and let's get stuck in on the OBS. So I got you guys in a pretty precarious position there, so hopefully the camera holds up, but we're gonna start with the receiver dryer, see if we can get this thing off. Got a couple big connections, one back here and then one right here. I actually don't have wrenches big enough, so I'm gonna start with an adjustable. Always be careful. Try not to have those loose, especially as this is going on the evaporator core. But we're gonna get that on this one. And this guy is a 7/8 actually. Put it right here just to support the receiver dryer and stop us from twisting any of these connections off. And then should, yeah, there she goes, be able to slowly start undoing this. So we got these two big connections we got to get undone. Yeah, seems to be cooperating. Definitely having this wrench to kind of support the receiver dryer so you're not twisting against the air boxes is really nice. Not gonna lie, this thread feels, I hate to use the word, but crunchy. So I guess we'll see what's going on with that as we open this. And because I put the compressor on already, I really relieved most of the system of pressure. There wasn't really much left anyway, the way it failed. But just something to keep in mind as you do this as well. So I'm gonna stop there with that one. I think we're pretty close. And get this one back here. Also, this pressure switch is unplugged. You want that. All right, well, we are free on that side. So let's move over here. Unfortunately, I do not have anything big enough other than the adjustable. Let's get these guys going too. All right, so this line is liberated. You can see this has been converted to 134, maybe being a 96 it had one, but it's got the green O-rings, which is a good sign. I'm pretty sure someone's been through this AC system before, just kind of looking at the parts that are on here. So the main connections are now disconnected. This is unplugged. I think if we get my electric ratchet here, I think there's one clamp down here. See if we can do this without dropping the bolt. Yeah, just this old 10 mil. I think I see another one here, so. Yep. That was also a 10. I'm hopeful, if we got everything. Here she goes. All right, she's out. All right, I'm gonna hop out of sequence a little bit here. I realize the receiver dryer kind of out of the way. I have pretty nice access to this little evap solenoid. So I think I'm gonna just replace this now while I can easily get to it. So get this guy unplugged. Looks like we may have some vacuum lines kind of on the bottom here, but I'm gonna undo here and here. Let's try this again with a 10 mil. Hey, look at this thing disintegrate. Might have to do some modification. Look at that, guys. Oh, it came off. That is probably the most questionable emissions fitting I've seen in a while. I will say though, for good or for worse, this truck is extremely original. That kind of means someone did just about nothing on it for 30 years. But it's off, so yeah, we can get the new one here mounted up in just a minute. All right, so let's get the new evap solenoid on. Here it is. There's the old one. Got this guy. Just gonna tuck in under here. That one's not in bad shape. Then we've got the bigger guy, also not looking the greatest. Definitely worth, if I can, replacing those. And then the most scary one, by a thread, if that. Wild. I guess just after 30 years, things start to disintegrate. But she's on. We can get our 10 mils on here. Don't want to go too crazy with these rubber isolators. I think that's probably good. We can plug this guy in too. Kind of interesting positioning, but I guess it probably goes like that. And there you have it. We'll see if that actually helps our code or if actually these elbows are gonna have to be replaced, as I suspect. All right, well, we're getting close to doing the receiver dryer. I'm gonna do these O-rings though, so get this guy off. I'll just put this on here. But definitely need the O-rings. So there we go. And I did wipe these mating surfaces down just to make sure there's no debris. These brackets are just not how they are on the heater box here. And I don't want to put a bunch of pressure on the plastic and risk damaging it. Be a little bit of trial and error here, but we'll get it figured out. All right, so I got this thing lined up. My receiver dryer, the hole doesn't line up here. I could drill it out, but the hole on this side actually lines up perfectly, so I just put the screw in on this side. It's already really on there. I still have this clamp to put on as well, so I feel like once I get both of those on, I'll kind of be off to the races here as far as this being well supported. So I'm gonna just work on getting this screw in now. I'm gonna work on getting this guy in. Let's see if we can tighten these guys up a little bit. So, receiver dryer is in. There's actually another pressure switch that goes on here that I did not get, so I'm gonna order that up this evening. I figure I should just get all new. You know, I have everything else new. I want the AC to work good. It's imperative to have down here, especially in the summer. I don't want one switch to leave me stranded without AC. So we're gonna leave this for now, and we're gonna get on with the next piece. All right, well, as usual, I realized I forgot to buy a few parts. So while we're doing that, I am going to get stuck in with a couple of these other items: alternator, intake tube, and idler. All right, well, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've been itching to get this thing off here. I cannot stand it, the way it was disintegrating and just leaving a mess everywhere, and equally on my hands. So we're gonna get this thing removed once and for all. Don't cut a hole in the hose and leave ourselves stranded. So we're gonna get this guy loose here. And we're gonna get this one loose down here. A little stubborn. You see what I mean? Instantly, as soon as you touch it. This just needed a little more. So there she goes. Let's see. We're free. I'll give you guys a close-up. I think I showed this on another video, but this is the rubber just completely disintegrating. So while the intake's out of the way, I think it's time to do the high-low pressure switch. This goes right on the back of the compressor here. Like I mentioned, I already had to put this on. It's a little bit kind of emergency for me as I needed to use the truck. It is my daily driver, but this is the new one. So let's get this old guy removed. We can put a nice new one on there as well. Really, the goal is that everything in the AC system should be really replaced or serviced at this point so that we have nice frosty AC for the summer. Right, we're off. And you might be able to see down here the little green O-ring. I'm gonna replace that for good measure. Like I said, it looks like someone's been through this system at some point, but I don't really understand what happened with the compressor, but the failure it had was pretty catastrophic and left me stranded. That's kind of why I'm just gonna go through the whole thing and make sure everything's new and up to date. We can thread the pressure switch back. All right, that's nice and seated. More stuff for the trash. I love it. Now this is on. Some of you guys might have noticed this cable tie. Cut that. I was holding but we can actually plug this in now. Always satisfying. We will keep this one to the compressor off, really just for peace of mind until I've got the system charged up. Just the 10mm bolt on the main valve back there to make sure I did that up tight. That's great. All right. Excellent. We're getting one step closer to having some frosty AC. All right, well, on with the fun stuff. Let's see what we can do with this alternator and tensioner. All right, let's give this another go. There she goes. All right, we got the belt off the idler at the top. Not too bad. I think I mentioned to you guys, it looks like someone's done the alternator before in this. All right, I got some PB blaster. This guy's unplugged, that's a good sign. That's the whole alternator harness free. This one came right out. All right, well, this is what I've resorted to. Not recommended, but I managed to get some penetrating oil down in this. And as it slowly opened up, I just continued to kind of flood the bolt with penetrating oil. It's sticky, but I think we're gonna be lucky with this. Bit of trash in the threads, but you can see where the PB blaster got in there and probably saved my butt. All right, let's get this thing out. This is the new one. We got a Torx here, T50, and it does just fit in. Let's go for it. Here it is. Sweet. Oh, that behaved a lot more than the alternator. So I got this nice new Bosch unit. I went ahead and lubricated all these so that hopefully you don't have a thread issue again. This is just to hold it in place. Like I was saying earlier, something nice about new parts. All right, well, it is the next day and I'm back on the OBS. The couple parts I was waiting on have finally come in. So hopefully I'm in a position where we can get this AC system charged. We can be back on the road. So what parts came in? I think I showed you guys, I already had the Orifice Tube. This guy is a replacement for this. Let's see if we can open it up real quick. But it is the switch that controls the compressor. There we go. So this came in a Motorcraft box. I'm not gonna lie, it looks very similar to the one I took out right here. But this one says made in China on it. So who knows? Opted for the Motorcraft, so we're gonna get this installed first. So for this, I just had the little dust cover on here. Get that off. We can get our new one. Start threading this in. As you saw, there was an O-ring on there, so we do not have to crank this down, but I do have a wrench. This piece is plastic too, so kind of nip that up. It's my plug. It's a little beat up, this one, but I think it's missing the clip. But appears should go on like that. let's give this Orifice Tube a go. Oh, and these were the tools I got that you need to separate the tube that the Orifice Tube sits in. I'll put a link in the description below if that's helpful for anyone as well. Oh, that's cute. Decided to break. Kind of guessing here, folks. Well, there you go. For those that wondered, it was this one. Apparently that's a 5/8. Sorry if y'all were looking at my head there for a minute. But we got it. Yum. Look at that. Whew. You can actually see the pieces of the compressor in there from when it failed. There we go. Look at those pieces of metal. Wow. Well, that's why you have this. All right, here's our new one, just for reference. You see how clean that is? The other one was crudded up all the way through here and had metal shavings on it. There she goes. All right, and I'm taking the opportunity to put some new O-rings on this too. There she goes. She's properly in now. Make sure that seats down nicely. That is my AC overhaul complete, at least from the parts and components standpoint. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my gauges on here, and I have a vacuum pump, and I'm gonna pull a vacuum on the system to pull out any moisture that has been kind of caught in the system while we've had it open, dry it out, and also that way we can see if it holds a vacuum, which is how we're gonna leak test it. All right, well, I used my little vacuum pump here. It's just a little Amazon special, but if we go up to the gauges, I drew this vacuum down. It's been isolated for, I don't know, over an hour. And we are still holding pretty much rock solid here. So that's a good sign from the leak department. The added benefit of drawing the vacuum is it, like I said earlier, it removes all the moisture out of the system so it's nice and dry, which is first of all what you want, and equally it'll just make the AC system work that much better as well. So next step, I'm gonna get some refrigerant here and we're gonna start charging the system. I got 3 of these R134 cans. These are all 12 ounces each. Basically on the OBS, the earlier trucks, it says that they hold 33 ounces or 32 ounces. And then there was a TSB, and then equally in 96, I believe it said that you hold 38 ounces of refrigerant if the system is completely empty. So right here, I've got 36 ounces, and then I do have just a little bit left over from a previous project. So we gotta put all of these in the system, as basically the system here is completely empty. And on my truck, it's still listed here. So it shows that 2 pounds and 6 ounces is the capacity or charge weight when the system is empty. All right, well, I was able to get the refrigerant in, and this is always a good sign of a successful and functioning AC system. This thing's sweating, and the AC is blowing nice and cold inside. Unfortunately, I had a couple issues filming the charging process with basically dumping the cans in here. Basically, you keep the high side isolated and you just fill through the low side, the blue side. But I would say that is a huge success, and it's got me with working AC before it gets super hot here in Florida. So if you are new to the channel and you came this way because of the OBS content like this, there's gonna be a ton more coming. So please consider subscribing. It really, really helps me out. I'm doing my best to grow the channel and continue to keep cars like this on the road. OBS is part of my daily driver fleet, and it's something that has to be reliable, so I am always tinkering on it and basically mechanically restoring the truck. And once that's sorted, we're gonna get onto some of the cosmetic stuff as well to bring this back to its former glory from 1996. And if you just like cars in general, we've got the 65 Mustang Fastback here. We can see the Viper lurking there, the Porsche there, and the Jag is not here today, but it is actually gonna be coming in the garage right after this. I've got some big updates coming on that with the Android system. So there is a ton of content in the pipeline for those folks that just like unique and interesting cars and what I'm doing in the shop every day. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.